we've got to emphasize positive command climates and inclusion. You know, we get criticized, frankly, sometimes for being woke. I'm not sure what woke means. I think woke means a lot of different things to different people. But I think, you know, we do have a wide range of soldiers in our Army, and we've got to make them all feel included. And that's why a lot of our diversity, equity, and inclusion programs are important.
Got to make them all feel included. Man alive, I'm only 42, but I feel old. I do not remember that being the goal when I was in the Marines. I do not remember the goal of the command making me feel included. Maybe it was different for Chase. Joining me now, former Army Major Chase Spears. Chase, do you remember in your time in the service, was the goal to make you feel included?
Hey, Justin, thanks for having me. You know, we talk about building a team in the military. And of course, we want people to feel like they can be a member of a team, a member of something that is greater than themselves, the defense of the nation. But specifically, it's really a very recent thing that I heard. Well, we just want everyone to feel included. That's not really the language that I came up with.
Yeah. You have a piece out in the Epic Times that the Army knows exactly what woke means. What are you talking about?
Yeah, so absolutely. When I heard the secretary say that I don't know what woke means, I was really kind of flabbergasted. Someone in her position, of her education, of her knowledge, would absolutely, most certainly know what this is about. The fact of the matter is the Army in recent years has taken on a much more socially progressive tone. And that kind of follows the way the administration has gone. It follows a lot of the ways the culture has gone. But what has always separated the Army is that the Army stood apart from that. The military stood apart from that. And they said, we're not going to be a part of these matters. At the end of the day, we're about taking care of the nation. We are about national security. And anything that adds to that, we're going to be about. Anything that takes away from that, we're going to eschew. And it seems like the table has absolutely turned. And now we have an Army that, while it claims not knowing what woke is, it's really embraced everything that woke is about. And that's been to our national detriment.
We saw the latest numbers that 72% of Americans would not be willing to fight for this country if it got into a major conflict. Only 21% would. I obviously have many sources in the military, and they don't appear at all to be willing to tackle the true root cause of this recruiting crisis. Are they willing to actually tackle any of this?
Sadly, Jesse, I think the current leadership just is not interested in getting after what it would take to turn this around, because it is these ideologies that are there in states. They are there to kind of drag the military along with the way the administration wants to go. And so this is really kind of their ultimate goal, their ultimate dream. Why would they want to interfere with that? At the end of the day, when they leave office, when the Secretary of Defense leaves office, when the Secretary of the Army leaves office, they won't be held accountable. They'll go on, they'll have other jobs, they'll be on boards, they'll be well paid. What happens to the military will no longer be their concern. And it's really unfortunate to watch that happen, because in my career, the way I felt was anytime that I take on an assignment, I want to leave it better than I found it. Sometimes I did, sometimes I didn't. But that was always my goal, is I want to leave it better than I found it, because I feel an ownership stake in this. And sadly, I don't think that the top service officials really kind of feel that same way. This is one part of their career, and they'll move on. And they're allowing kind of the progressive march through the institutions to really kind of solidify its final ground in the military. And that should alarm every American.
Why'd you get out so early? Were you always planning on making it a short thing? Did you want to do 30? What happened?
So when I initially enlisted, I planned on doing 1 4-year enlistment. Shortly after I started, my brigade commander made it very clear he wanted me to go to officer candidate school. So I did. Commissioned, spent the majority of my career as an officer. My wife and I loved the Army. We loved the Army life. I loved being a paratrooper. I wanted to do it for 30 years. When I was at the Command and General Staff College, I was already dreaming of fellowships at the War College level. And I loved what I did. I loved being a soldier. I loved telling the Army story to people. I loved doing interviews like this where I was praising the Army. but about the last 3 years, I just saw the way the institution was going, and it became increasingly apparent to me I can't be a spokesman for an agency that is calling someone like me an extremist because I believe in the good of the institution and I truly believe in the values that the institution says it's about. So I went ahead and concluded my career right at the 20-year mark. I retired as a major. I was on the promotion list for a lieutenant colonel and turned that down because my family and I decided it's better to walk away than to try to stay in.
Chase, thank you, my man. I appreciate it.